Chapter 2, Dungeon City. Light. Blinding light pierced through Ethan's closed eyelids, dragging him back to consciousness. He groaned and shielded his eyes with his arm, trying to make sense of his surroundings. Where was he? As his vision cleared, he found himself lying on a grassy field under a bright blue sky. The air was fresh, filled with the scent of flowers and the distant sound of a flowing river. It was a stark contrast to the cold, suffocating room he had left behind. He sat up, looking around in bewilderment. What is this place? He muttered to himself, still trying to comprehend the reality of his situation. The last thing he remembered was collapsing onto his hospital bed, feeling his life slip away. And then there was that strange system panel offering him skills for crossing a dimensional boundary. Had he really died and been reincarnated into another world? He shook his head, trying to focus. This was real. This was happening. He had chosen 3 skills from that extensive list, but what were they? Again, status, he said instinctively, hoping the system panel would appear. Again, to his surprise, it did. Name, Angus DeGaro Ethan Smith. Race, human. Level, 0. Occupation, none. Class, none. Age, 18. Strength, 9. Agility, 7. Defense, 8. Mana, 100. Skills. Appraisal, provides the ability to analyze and understand the properties and value of objects and beings. Skill absorption, allows the user to absorb skills from others, up to a certain limit, enhancing their own abilities. Universal synthesis, enables the user to combine different materials or energies to create new items of effects. Ethan stared at the panel, the implications of his chosen skills sinking in. These were powerful abilities, ones that could make him a formidable force in this new world. But why had he been given this second chance? Setting that aside, he began to explore the system again. Angus DeGaro. He noticed that his name had changed somehow. Did this mean he had a family in this world? But why couldn't he recall anything about them? Forget it, he muttered. It didn't seem likely he'd be able to find them soon anyway. He was in a dense forest, after all. He had the body of an 18-year-old, but with a completely unfamiliar face. Suddenly finding himself in a perfectly healthy body felt a little strange yet extremely comforting. Although he wasn't able to see his face clearly, he could tell from his assumptions that he had a fairly handsome face with a well-toned body. It feels really weird, like suddenly wearing someone else's skin. Fortunately, I was born as a human male. That's a relief at least, Ethan muttered, examining his body. His skin was fair, smooth, and unblemished, almost unnaturally perfect, with a sheen that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. His eyes, an impenetrable void of starless midnight, belled a depth that felt both chilling and captivating, as if gazing into them would reveal an endless, shadowed expanse. His silky black hair cascaded in dark, lustrous waves, adding a touch of elegance to his otherwise enigmatic appearance. The unfamiliar attire he wore, a brown, leather-coated, intricately designed hunter's outfit, seemed both advanced and archaic, its texture and cut suggesting an otherworldly origin. The whole ensemble created a disconcerting sense of perfection, as though he were a hyper-realistic creation from a high-tech simulation. If he were on Earth, he would have been called an idol. Before he could ponder further, a rustling noise caught his attention. He turned to see a figure emerging from the tree line. It was a young woman, dressed in a simple yet elegant white combat outfit, her eyes wide with curiosity and concern. She had long, flowing silvery hair that cascaded down her back in soft waves, catching the light with a hint of red. Her eyes were a striking shade of emerald green, sparkling with intelligence and a hint of mischief. Her gaze turned sharp upon seeing an unfamiliar person, and she instinctively reached for a dagger at her waist. "Hey, who are you?" she asked, breaking the silence as she cautiously approached. The language was different from that On Earth, but he understood it. As if it were natural. Ethan sensed the caution in the young woman's stance and raised his hands in a gesture of peace. Calm down, lady, I mean no harm. As you can see, I'm harmless here. Her brow furrowed with a mix of suspicion and curiosity. Oh, what are you doing in the wilderness, and where are you from? Ethan replied, I really don't know. I am actually lost, I can't remember anything except my name. See, she said, relaxing slightly. Though a hint of suspicion remained. Ethan cheered inwardly, realizing that she believed his made-up story. Can you tell me where I am? He asked, relaxing his muscles. He stared at the young woman, amazed, seeing a real-life fantasy world woman left him a little dazed. She was truly beautiful, a perfect piece of art. She nodded. You're in the wild forest, just outside Arcadia City. My name is Arya. I found you lying here for a while now, which explains my caution thus fat. Arcadia City, a name straight out of a fantasy novel, Ethan thought, marveling at the irony, but he felt excitement, realizing he could finally walk and talk normally. I'm Ethan, he replied, standing up and brushing the grass off his clothes. Thank you for agreeing to my request, Miss Arya. She nodded. So, where do you want to go next? Do you need some help? He hesitated. He had no idea what to do next. This world was completely foreign to him, and he had no connections or purpose. But then he remembered the skills he had chosen and the potential he now possessed. Maybe this was his chance to start anew, to forge a new path for himself. No, he said finally, I don't have anywhere to go. I'm completely unfamiliar with this place, but I want to learn more about this place. Can you help me, please? She examined him from head to toe, noticing he had no weapons. Adding to the fact that he was at level 0, she asked, do you not have the blessing of the god? You mean this system thing? Ethan asked, just to be sure. Yes, that. So, you do have one. But why are you at level 0? Ethan sweated. I don't know either. As I said earlier, nothing is coming to mind. Can you not help me? Arya smiled warmly. Oh, of course. Come with me to the dungeon city. Everyone is welcome here. There's much to see, and I'm sure you'll find your place soon. Dungeon City? Ethan asked. So, there are dungeons in this world as well. Great, he thought inwardly, feeling genuine excitement. This place seemed like the best starting point for his journey. His chasen skills should be very useful here. Thanks, Arya. You're really kind and beautiful. I am grateful for your help. OCH. Follow me then, Arya. Blushing slightly at the compliment, started leading Ethan to the dungeon city. As they jumied, their conversation flowed smoothly. Arya's smile was captivating him for a moment. The journey to Dungeon City was filled with wonders. The landscape was a patchwork of rolling hills, dense forests, and sparkling rivers. They encountered a few beasts along the way, but Arya dealt with them easily. Ethan was impressed by her fighting prowess and magical dagger skills. She was swift and precise, piquing his curiosity. He activated his appraisal skill. His eyes turned a bluish hue, and the following information appeared in his mind. Name, Arya Silvermoon. Age, 19. Level, 40. Affiliation, Arcadia Hunters Guild. Silvermoon Assassin Clan. So, she's an assassin. And level 40. On top of that, Ethan thought, slightly frightened, but as he observed her demeanor, he relaxed slightly. They passed small villages where people went about their daily lives, tending to fields or selling wares in bustling marketplaces. The people were friendly, greeting them with warm smiles and curious glances. It felt like a medieval period on Earth, but with magical wonders. Everyone seemed to wield some form of magic. Ethan learned from Arya that everyone in this world was born with a system, which they awakened at the age of 10. He had thought he was unique for having a system, but now it seemed like his journey might be tougher than he expected. Arya also told him about the kingdom of Arrakis, a land rich in history and magic, ruled by a benevolent king who valued peace and prosperity. It was an affiliated kingdom of the Kyrus Empire, one of the 5 massive empires. Arcadia, the Dungeon City, was a hub of adventurers, hunters, and merchants. The city attracted people from all walks of life, seeking fame, fortune, or simply a new start. It sounded like a place where Ethan could truly belong after enduring torment for years.